Says you're nothing at all.
Goddamn, Sam.
But I'll pick you up, darling, when you fall. When she left you fall.
Life is crazy, man.
Life is so crazy. Life
Streets ain't the streets no more.
and you don't even know it.
Hey.
Peace, 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 family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Astrologiks, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be doing the weekly astrology for July 14th to the 20th, starting with Monday. So the moon is still in Pisces. Definitely people might sleep in. So you might want to put your alarm clocks on if you're somebody who's used to getting up on your own. Pisces energy can make you feel sleepier than normal, or kind of like groggy. Our feelings can be a little bit bigger than normal because the ancient ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. And so we have to look at Jupiter whenever we're talking about Pisces, and Jupiter is currently in the sign of Cancer, which is more emotional expressions. And so you want to be careful for that. You can get your emotional needs met, but it might be in private. Pisces is the things that happen behind the scenes, behind closed doors, in private. And then the moon will square Venus in Gemini. So relationships can have some issues here for sure. Or you can have issues with like siblings, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins. This could be a hard time learning if you're doing some kind of studying and you're going to school in the morning. You might have a hard time focusing on the task at hand. I'd be careful for driving too. There could be like a lot of detours or road construction work on the roads. And then Venus will square Mars and Virgo. This is make love or make war. Whenever I think of Mars and Virgo, I always think of like the really tumultuous divorce, you know? I mean, there's potential to work it out, but it might be a little bit more difficult than normal. People aren't seeing eye to eye, and we could be super critical and judgmental, causing people to get their feelings hurt with the Cancer and Pisces energy. This could also be like money issues coming up. Or like work can get in the way of trying to solve any kind of personal problems. You know, there's an important conversation that needs to be had, but you got to work. And so you're at work all day when you much rather be having a conversation with your person or whomever you might be in some kind of disagreement with to get to the bottom of it. And you can't, you know. If you're traveling at all, you can anticipate on having some travel issues for sure. And then Moon will oppose Mars in Virgo. So this is like be careful for like health issues. And also pay attention to your dreams because they might be trying to tell you something, signs, symbols, synchronicities. They're trying to get your attention. So if you see like 555 or, you know, sequence of numbers, I would look those up. This could also be things like deja vu, daydreaming. I think of daydreams as many dreams during the day, and whatever you're daydreaming about could be trying to tell you something. Whenever I think of energy like that, I always think of like I dream of fishies, people say that saying, or other like little sayings like that. Like when a baby bends over in front of you, that means you're either pregnant or you're going to get pregnant. It could be little things like that, that are happening that are trying to give you some kind of signs, symbols of things to come or things that are already going on and you just don't know about. Um, and then Tuesday, the sun in Cancer will trine moon in Pisces. So everything is in harmonious flow with this energy. We might be emotionally focused, um, but we'll get some kind of emotional clarity, which is good. And then the moon will conjunct the North Node in Pisces. These are fated events, spiritual insights through reflection, and like I said, daydreaming, signs, symbols, synchronicities. Now, this could cause us not to be seeing things clearly, especially if you're in an emotional heightened state where you're really happy. I don't know why, whenever I think of this energy, I think of somebody who just finished having sex. I know that's so inappropriate, but maybe another way to think about that is somebody who just finished working out, where you feel like endorphins have been released. And so you're in a heightened state emotionally that might kind of make you be a little bit more dreamy than realistic, um, which makes you easily manipulated. You know, it's easy to manipulate you when you're in that state of or frame of mind. So be careful for that. Um, the moon enters Aries and will conjunct Saturn and Neptune retrograde, and sextile Pluto and Aquarius retrograde. So this isn't the time to be making any kind of decisions. Get grounded and really think things through for whatever conversations you're having, because it's retrograde. I can almost guarantee it's going to be a conversation that you'll have to end up having again, because people don't change overnight. So whatever you're arguing about, disagreeing about, not seeing eye to eye about, maybe you made up, maybe you got some clarity and you talk things through so you're feeling a little bit better. But don't write it off as something that's completely complete. That's all I'm saying, you know, because it could definitely come up again with all these retrogrades. Wednesday, the moon will square Jupiter in Cancer. And this could be emotional frustration with home and family matters. Be careful of your temper and exaggerating your emotional responses or having exaggerated emotional responses. And make sure you're holding yourself accountable for what is and isn't working. If somebody's lying to you and easily manipulating you, you have to take responsibility for not seeing it, right? And this isn't about good or bad, right or wrong. It's just about Aries energy is about being accountable, holding yourself, being honest about the role that you played, learning a lesson and wisdom and not falling for it again. This is like first time, shame on you, second time, shame on me, third time, you know? So that's going to be huge with the Aries, Saturn and Neptune and Aries is about taking accountability for the role that you play in the things that aren't working out in your life. Um, and then the moon will trine Mercury in Leo. So we're responding to change in a very emotional way. This could be a breakup, an argument, disagreement, cars breaking down, accidents, issues at work. Somebody forgot to pick up the chicken. Somebody didn't clean the dishes. I mean, it depends on what house this is happening to you, whatever it is that you're fed up with, that you're having arguments and disagreements about. um, pretty much you like yelling at the top of your lungs or lashing out at somebody. This could be creative projects with Leo. Um, this could even be trying to get pregnant and it's not working. Uh, Having to take care of a sick parent or animal or pet, you know, and just getting really, really upset about whatever's coming up for you. Remember, go exercise, go out, have a good time. Perhaps you have a super supportive friend, family member you could talk to about what's going on to kind of help you put things in perspective, you know. Um, it's better off to have clear communication on things coming up before you address them. And then Thursday, the moon will trine Mercury in Leo. And then the moon will sextile Venus and Gemini. This is very playful connections and communication. Good for playing games, doing like word puzzles, anything that kind of crossword puzzles, anything that kind of makes your brain think. Um, Going out to some kind of event, a bar, dinner, um, just chatting, talking, very social. Um, yeah. And then the moon will square the sun in Cancer. Excuse me. We're more independent, direct, and active, out and about getting things done, especially around home and family responsibilities. And then Mercury goes retrograde later that day. So anything that has been coming up since the end of June, um, up until the 17th, um, deja vu. Be prepared to repeat everything. It's going to feel like, didn't we already have this conversation? Like, I thought I told you, you know? But this could also be things like, again, accountability, addressing your leadership skills and how you lead, um, your personal identity. Uh, I don't know why I don't know if anybody's seen Black Panther at that part where he was fighting that big dude and he was getting his ass beat. And the mom was like, "Show him who you are." So the universe is yelling at you like, "Show motherfuckers who you are." But you don't have to be disrespectful, argumentative, screaming at the top of your lungs to get that recognition or to have people listen to you and things of that nature. Be in a grounded, mature state. Be a leader and people will follow, kind of thing. So maybe coming up with strategies, skill sets on specific things that you need to handle the things that you need, and perhaps getting some kind of counseling, astrology, knowing your chart, um, um, studying something about, what it means to be a good leader or boss or mother or parent or um, things of that nature, reading that kind of literature to help you understand how to be a better person can be beneficial um, during this retrograde. Your personal identity, knowing who you are and what you want and standing on that proudly, you know, with grace and respect. Um, I feel like it could be so much more than that, but yeah. And then Friday, the moon enters Taurus and it'll square Pluto in Aquarius retrograde. So markets can change when it comes to tech, cars, and medical industry. There can definitely be some power struggles, but it's manageable because Venus is in Gemini. So now that the moon is in Taurus, we have to look at Venus because Venus is the ruler of Taurus and it's currently in the sign of Gemini. And so we're more focused on pleasure, finances, security, good food and resources, um, but from a Gemini perspective. And so this could be things that are sweet, text messages, love letters, weekend trips, dating, chatting, socializing with friends, five-star restaurants, a good home cooked meal, cookouts, get-togethers at home, having like a little house party or something like that, something more intimate can be really good. Um, or these would be things that give us pleasure and make us kind of happy. Um, and then the moon will sextile Jupiter, which puts a big focus on comfort and growth. Yeah, this is about family cookouts, family reunions, very nostalgic, having conversations about the good old days, good times, when your cousin hit your brother over the head type thing, reminiscing about childhood memories, looking at old pictures and photos, hearing stories about um, family legacy and, who's who and who passed away and stuff like that. Um, Saturday, the moon in Taurus will square Mercury and Leo. Not the best to be gambling or taking any kind of risks or even talking about your values and finances because there can be like a lot of communication issues. Or people just aren't listening or they're not focused on it. They just don't care right about now. They might have other stuff going on. I don't want to say they just don't care, but busy, busy, busy mind, monkey mind. Not really able to give you the solid information that you need. And then the moon will trine Mars and Virgo, which can be very productive. So I like that. Um, and then the moon will trine the South Node. Um, in Virgo. This is like drama over finances, clearing out debt and bills, or it's just a no. So something might not be moving forward, something might get cut out. You cannot pass go, you cannot collect $200 because Mars cuts things out, burns things up. And South Node is about letting things go, releasing the past, detoxing. Um, Mars and Virgo will conjunct the South Node can be like not really people could like not be aware how much anger they're holding on to, which is causing health issues like digestive issues or inflammation. This could also be conflicts and issues with coworkers, um, drama in relationships because somebody canceled the weekend plans because they have to work. This is definitely going to stir up drama with specifically people who are not in committed relationships, like love affairs and casual hookups. I can see this being like, I thought we was going to hang out, but they got a family and their family made plans, so they can no longer do your plans because y'all ain't really committed, or they don't owe that to you. Because it doesn't necessarily mean that they have a family; they just might be non-committal, or those are the premises of your relationship, and so they don't take your plans seriously. Something else comes up, something better comes up to them, and they do that instead. So there could be a lot of secrets coming out around these themes. We're going to see a lot of breakups for sure from now until mid-August because and what it's going to do is help us realize I've said some things, I've pushed some people away, and now breakups are final, you know. And it's going to help us see that we don't have to hold on to grudges or be hostile or fight, waving the white flag like I give in, I don't want to do this anymore. Either because I love you and I want more, or because it's not worth it. So this is like giving up, choosing your battles wisely. Even this could even be like self-doubt. But I kind of see this as people deciding to make a decision, not like their mental health is not worth this because whatever that is for you. And then Sunday, the moon enters Gemini, and it will conjunct Uranus, which is shocking, surprising news. And then the moon will trine Pluto in Aquarius retrograde, which is information overload on the internet. But this is good for like getting out, going for a walk, hanging out with siblings, socializing. This could also be the change of friends and connections and friend groups and platonic groups and hobby groups, groups you belong to, social media network platforms you belong to, big communication issues, slowdowns, glitches, blackouts, stuff like that. Plans changing, car accidents or car issues, travel issues. I mean, we are officially in Mercury retrograde, so rest assured that anything you have going on between the retrogrades and the connection to the South Node, what it's doing, it's almost as if the universe is playing. You ever see I I can't remember the other movie it's called, but specifically in Doctor Strange, where they could like change the different worlds you walk into. I feel like the universe is kind of doing that, and we're walking into new destinies, new lives, new people, new situations that we're never going to go back to, very fated events. And the universe is like, well, you're not making the right decisions. I'm going to make them for you, type thing, you know, and I'm going to choose for you. And, that's that. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But that's what I got for you for this week. I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.